All right, let's get into this. Good morning to y'all. I wanted to just share my thoughts about this topic here. All right. Now, if you are local, because this is local news or whatever, you may have heard that they have decided to end the local rideshare service known as Iris. And so I wanted to speak a little bit about it because, as y'all can see, I mean, just from the bottom right here, and maybe the reactions, um, there are a number of people that are not too happy about it. But on the flip side, I think the majority of people have no problem with this service being cut. And so I wanted to get into it. This whole Iris ride share idea, it was something that was also, at least if the mayor did not introduce it, he was heavily involved in ensuring that it was going to be rolled out. Okay. And like I said, in my opinion, there's nothing really wrong with having a local rideshare service. I believe all major cities should have one. I mean, what are the taxpayers paying for? Okay. However, the problem with this Iris service is that it was poorly executed. Okay. You know, they didn't really sit down and do enough thinking, strategizing, and organizing uh, to the point that we're going to see this being a successful service. Okay. They did not do that. And so, in my opinion, anyway, all right. And if they did, that just is another strike on the lack of leadership coming out of this current administration. All right. But as a result, despite a few people kind of like pulling up saying this ride share was everything to me and it helped me or whatever, for the most part, it didn't mean nothing. Okay. And see, one of the reasons why, in my opinion, the service, they have no choice but to cut it, is it was way too dependent on just people like this. You know what I'm saying? Utilizing the service. It wasn't a service that was substantial enough for, working people and various different people like that to really pull up and use it. All right. And a great reason why is because of things like they couldn't give you accurate times of when you were going to be picked up. Sometimes the service didn't even pull up, even when you scheduled the ride. And then one of the main things was you couldn't really request it on demand. All right, you couldn't even like you had to schedule this stuff a day in advance. All right, only to be told that the driver might be pulling up between this time and the time. It was a terrible service. Okay, all right, the city just did not do enough. All right, or work smart enough to really see it being successful. And so as a result, they got to pull up and cut it. And this is another strike on that mayor. Okay, it starts with him. All right, this is a serious strike on him because when it comes to just the topic of transportation and access, or citizens getting access to certain forms of public transportation and stuff like that, something that he ran on. Okay, it was one of the primary things he ran on. He has failed miserably with this whole deal. All right, like everything that has to do with transportation. You know what I'm saying? And the citizens of this city utilizing transportation, it has been an epic fail, okay, as they used to say. And it all should fall on this mayor, all right? And so, I just kind of like wanted to share my thoughts real quick on this service being cut, all right? And so, yeah, and somebody asked me like, what do you think are some some ideas that will actually improve transportation in Kansas City? Something innovative or something like that. I'm gonna do a video on that, just speaking about just a number of things, just a citizen. Okay, speaking on what I think. uh, would improve the service. But one thing I can say on this clip, okay, and I'll catch up with y'all on the next clip when I speak more in depth on this. But a membership fee, you know, that would be real good. Like if they actually had a membership fee, us doesn't mean other people can't pay to get on or whatever. But if they had a membership fee where you can pay, a flat fee to utilize a number of services coming out of KCATA or however they got it set up, that would be good, you know, especially like if they added stuff like bathrooms that you can have access to and things of that nature. Yeah, that will be a real creative thing. Maybe you even get a ride share feature in there or something like that. Okay. But I think that that's one of the things that would improve transportation, and it would actually probably encourage, working people to really invest more in public transportation, versus everything just being dependent on, the disabled and, those that can't afford to get on the bus. That is not working. And I believe that that's one of the primary reasons why services like Iris failed. Okay. But then again, like I say, um, it was likely for that to be the case when they were not doing enough that was encouraging, working people who can really invest and got money to pay to pull up and use the service. Okay. You know, it's 300.